tingles, that excitement. We're only 1 week away from opening night in the NBA. Where are you going to be that night?
I have no idea.
You're going to be in Philadelphia.
I'm going to be in
Come
Philly.
on now. We're going to be in the new Intuit Dome. Richard Jefferson, Tim McMahon. I'm Malika Andrews. Thank you for coming back. We missed you. Champ of the bald community.
I missed you guys.
Don't worry, though. Kendrick Perkins, he's going to be beaming in from Houston. There he is. But we start our show today in Philadelphia. Some news there during last night's preseason game. The second game that 9-time All-Star Paul George has played in. Watch this here. He went down awkwardly on this play early in the second quarter. He was trying to plant that left leg. He didn't return to the game. The team is saying that he hyperextended that left knee. Let's take a listen to what Nick Nurse, the head coach, said after the game.
PG was here today. Got it looked at again. Everything checks out okay. They are going to do some further imaging this afternoon to see if there's anything else. But some good spirits was here today. A number of the vets didn't practice today, coming in off a late night. But okay for now. We'll see what happens with the imaging.
It's understandable why fans get nervous when they're talking about Paul George and injuries, because he's had some notable ones during his career, and they've led to surgeries, a fractured leg, of course, the double shoulder surgery, and it comes on the heels, right, of learning that for the plan for the season for Joel Embiid is not playing in back-to-back. So, Kendrick, I'm going to go to you first here. Does this change the outlook, do you think, for the 76ers season at all?
I'm torn, Malika. On one side, it's like, I want to say yeah, but on the other side, I'm saying no, because for the simple fact, look, I'm glad that the 76ers actually have a plan, okay? That's one side of it. They have a plan. Obviously, you want to protect Joel Embiid and Paul George for the long haul. You want them to be healthy come playoff time. Now, on the other hand, you got to get to the playoff. It's going to be so hard to win games in the regular season because it's so balanced for us, the talent-wise, not just throughout the entire league, but even in the Eastern Conference. So you want to be able to be in the thick of things and not having to be in the play-in tournament towards the end because it's so stacked up. So I'm really torn in between, but they have enough talent. We know Tyrese Maxey is going to be there. I don't know how many games Paul George and Joel Embiid are going to play together. I would say 45, maybe 50. But again, the league is so stacked up. Every single night is going to be hard to win games, and you're going to need all your horses.
And it's tough because when you look at this team is built to win a championship. They finally got enough talent around Joel Embiid. The question is, can Joel Embiid be healthy? And so what did they say? Hey, you're going to sit out back-to-back. Now, before everyone says back-to-back, it could be the first end of a back-to-back. It could be the second end of a back-to-back. There are games where if they strategically, let's say there's a team in the bottom third of the league, we should be able to handle them at home so that he can be ready to go play the Knicks on the road the next day. So there is strategy there. And a lot of times with the back-to-backs, what they will do is they will position it so that a player, instead of getting 3 days off, he'll get 5 days off. So it's not as crazy as I think people think, especially because we know his history. This is my problem with Philly. We were worried about the injury history. It's so difficult to, let's say you finish fourth and your guys go in there healthy. You might have to get Boston in the second round. You might have to, you might get Milwaukee.
That's why they need to finish the top three.
That's why they need to finish in the top three. But how are you going to finish in the top three when Joel Embiid is telling you he's going to miss a portion of the games automatically? This is before there's a potential any injury. Then you're going to ask more of Paul George, who's going to start off the season. When you deal with a hyperextended knee, it might take 10 days. It might take 2 weeks to feel 100%. So that's my issue with Philly, is that we were all ready to go all in, and now Philly is struggling with the things that we were most worried about already. Availability before we even get started.
Yeah, and this scare doesn't change how you think about the 76ers. It reinforces just how fragile things are in Philadelphia. You know they're going into the season, even before this, planning and plotting and trying to keep Joel Embiid healthy, Paul George healthy, nursing them, so to speak, through the regular season. And really, that's what makes Tyrese Maxey the most important player on that roster for the regular season. He's the guy they can count on every single night. he's the guy that's going to have to carry this team when the other two stars are sitting.
And he knows it. That's why Joel Embiid has nicknamed him the franchise. They are going and working to empower this young player who somehow, some way is already going into his 5th year in the NBA to be able to be that guy. Let's just go in a little further on this back-to-back thing because a lot of it has been made of it. But when you actually look at their schedule, they have 15 on the slate, slightly up from last year. 12 of those back-to-backs come after January 2025.
Ooh,
let's put a number on it here.
That's brutal. For people, if 12 of your 15 back-to-backs are in the final third of the season, the NBA didn't do them any favor. Not that you would want them earlier, but you want them spread out like 2 here, 3 here. If 12 of your 15 is after January,
but there's no instant noodle chemistry in the NBA, right? So put a number on it, Tim. How many games do you need to see Paul George and Embiid play in the regular season when we're talking about them really needing to finish in the top 3?
I mean, Perk said 45 or 50. That'd be a great number. And then you get to how many of those games do they have to win? If they're not going to play 30, 35, 40 games together, I mean, you start doing the math and you start worrying about seeding. They're going to have to win at a 60-game clip when those two guys are on the court together.
Perk, what do you think?
I'm with it. I'm stuck in that 45-50 range because the East is just the Eastern Conference is so loaded with talent. You have the Celtics, the defending champs. You have the Milwaukee Bucks that's lurking with Dame and Giannis. You have the Knicks. You have the Cavs. You have the Magic, right? It's the Indiana Pacers. So you're going to have to strap them up. I think Tim said something really, really important. Tyrese Maxey is the most important player on this squad. But I'm looking at 45 or 50 games that Joel and Paul George needs to be on the floor together this season in order for Philly to be in the thick of things to put themselves in position to make a postseason run.
This is what I'm going to say really quickly. We know Boston, same head coach. They're bringing back their whole roster.
Right.
We know what the Knicks are. They are a Jalen Brunson-led team. Everyone's filling in. This is a team that's still trying to figure it out. More than the 45-50, I want to look at the last 35 games that they play. The last 35 games, how many of those games are they all available? How much rhythm can they get into? Because we know they're not going to be available for 82. But give me the last 30 going into the season. Embiid plays 24 of those. You know, guys are healthy, and now they know how they're going to go play against the best competition in the world.
Joel Embiid played 39 regular season games last year, and that wasn't with them saying at the start of the season, this is the plan going forward. So we also need to account for some nicks and knacks because that's the type of player he has proven to be. From being around them, though, there's something different with Joel right now. He feels very, very focused, knowing that they have a window this season, and really the team that stands in their way, and it is a big one, is the Boston Celtics. Speaking of some legendary matchups, though, we got a packed show coming up on it to catch up on the preseason action around the league. You guys, breaks with Richard Jefferson. They are something. First stop we're going to make is Inglewood, California for the first Clippers appearance in the new Intuit Dome. They're hosting the Mavs here. 0 for 9 for Klay Thompson, though, on this
preseason.
night. How concerning, Tim, is that?
I'll quote Jason Kidd. No concern. Now, would they have loved to have seen at least one of those 9 shots splash through the net? Obviously, but he was brought in to complement and benefit from Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving.
Right.
Who were sitting
Ain't nobody going to leave them open.
Well, they're sitting on the bench in street clothes. You can't judge them off this.
Well, let's go to Indy then. Caitlin Clark, she was at the game. It was another rookie, though, who stole the show. Zach Edey, 23 points off the bench. Perk, should he be starting on opening night?
Duh. Absolutely, he should be starting. I've been high on this big fella since he was at Purdue, giving people that work featherly touch around the basket, and now he's playing dominant in that paint. Imagine him alongside Ja Morant.
Off to Milwaukee. Bulls at the Bucks here. Just the second game Giannis and Dame have played in together in the preseason.
It's that two-man, that post-up, that drip. Even that handoff will lead to a pick and roll down that old Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, but they need more of that. They have to learn how to play together the best way that they know how.
Gotcha.
And then the Bucks down 10 here. Giannis. There's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do. That's why he is Giannis. That's why this is their window. That's why this season is so important. He is one of the most dominant players we've ever seen.
And that's one of the reasons they brought in Damian Lillard. The step back 3, Bucks down 2. So the beginning of the third year, the Bucks down 11. Giannis knocks down the fadeaway jumper. He's been working on that.
I love seeing the young players get it. It's a little different when you're watching the sharks in the water versus on Shark Week.
Dun-na, flash.
There's another one. There's another one.
And then Torian Prince practicing his camera work.
There's sharks in that water, boys. Oh, Milwaukee, they're coming back.
Getting a shot at Giannis
You
there.
said they never left.
That's apparently we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it right now because the Bucks saw their leading duo take control against the Bulls. Dame and Giannis created 75 points. That is a huge improvement over their Lakers preseason game. Perk's always saying Giannis can't be so concerned with his back, right? That's how you're going to get Dame involved. It's year 2 of Giannis, Dame, and Doc. Perk, do you have a word of the day here to define the Bucks season?
There you go.
You know what, Malik? I usually wait until the regular season, but since we're 7 days away, you damn right I got a word of the day. Excuseless, okay? Excuseless. That's the word of the day when it comes down to the Milwaukee Bucks this season. In the definition, having or offering no excuse. You know why? Because Doc Rivers, I love you to death. You're my brother. And Butu, we won a championship together. But lately, I've been hearing a lot of excuses from you. Giannis Antetokounmpo, a couple years ago, went on this big thing about, it's not a failure. Sound like an excuse to me. Damian Lillard, never heard it in my life. A guy that's always stood on business while he was important. Last season, all I heard was excuses. This season, none from the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't want to hear them from Doc. I don't want to hear them from Dame. I don't want to hear from Giannis. Go out there and perform and make some noise and get it done.
I'm impressed by Perk. That was well done. The whole music, the whole scene, I loved it. This is my thing with the Bucks. They don't have to look like Giannis. They don't have to look like Jokic and Murray. They don't have to look like Maxey and Embiid. They have to find what their best two-man game is, and then everyone else to eat around it. They don't have to be LeBron and AD, but they need to have those two players be the hub. It used to be just Dame. He never played with an all-star. It used to be just Giannis, and then they would spray out, and then Middleton and all the guys. It is different now, and this is where you can judge players' basketball IQ. How quickly can you adapt? We talk about LeBron being the highest IQ.
Yeah.
Every place he went, he adapted to a different superstar. That's why he is in that position, and that's what these two need to do.
And when you look at their talent, when you look at their ability, when you look at their games, they should work well together. They should be pieces that fit together. They didn't figure it out last year, at least to the potential they need to. But for the Bucks to be a real championship threat, this has to be the best duo in the NBA.
Right, and that's the context of this question, right? You were asking, what does that mean? They were ever out of contention? No, I guess it depends on your definition of contender.
I don't know, second round maybe? Maybe you get to the second round at least?
But I mean, the team setting the pace here is the Boston Celtics.
Facts.
Whenever we are talking this season, this is the rule on NBA Today. When we're talking about who is a championship contender, we're talking about what a team can do to catch Boston. That is the definition of championship contender. So with that as the definition, Perk, what does Milwaukee need to do to catch Boston, to get back that championship contention?
Well, when you think about the Boston Celtics, in order to look them eye to eye like the Knicks are doing right now, you have to have the talent, right? You have the talent in Giannis and Dame, but who's going to be your third option? We saw Chris Middleton last year. It was times he showed flashes. He had some good games where it was like, Chris Middleton of old. And then it was times where he actually looked old. And we was like, I'm concerned about Chris Middleton. Can he get it done? Is he still in his prime where he can create to get his shot off? When I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, especially in this sample size in the preseason, I'm looking at the boy Bobby Portis, who has been coming in off the bench and giving people that work. Can he be a third option? I believe he could come in and be a guy that could get him 18 to 20 points a night. Is that going to be enough? Is the help going to help the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis and Dame elevate to the top? Because you need those pieces, especially when you're talking about looking the champs in the eye to go toe-to-toe with them because they're loaded.
Chris Middleton at his peak, in his prime, which we can all be honest, he is not in his prime. He is in the latter third of his prime. At his prime, he proved there was questions. Could he be the guy next to Giannis?
Yeah.
They added Drew Holiday, and it was like that trio with Brook Lopez, with Bobby Portis, with the
and
that was
kind of won a game in the finals.
And that's what they were supposed to do. They were dominant. He was a great closer. He had Perk over here apologizing on TV.
Which
it was
hard to get done.
hard to get done. So that's impressive. But he's not there now, and so that's where it's like. For me, Chris Middleton has to be your fourth or fifth best player and healthy if they're going to look eye to eye with the Boston Celtics. But I just don't know if that's where the Bucks are right now, where he's your fourth or fifth best player.
You're asking a guy like Gary Trent Jr., who fell through the cracks in free agency, a bargain on a minimum, to be your third or fourth best player.
Bobby Portis. Like, it can be done by committee because you got Lopez, you got Portis, but it's just like it's going to have to be a strong committee.
Yeah, and that's when you're talking about tiers, right, in the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are in a tier, a class of their own, and then you have the Bucks, the Knicks, and the 76ers, and the Bucks may be towards the bottom of those three teams if they're not careful, right? And that's kind of what the regular season is for. That's why you actually play games, so we can figure all this out. Still to come on NBA Today, Steph, LeBron. They face off to see LeBron and Steph go toe-to-toe, and we get that tonight in Las Vegas as we say hello to our reporter covering the Lakers, Dave McMenamin. We are just over 6 hours away, Dave, from tip-off. We all enjoyed the treat of seeing LeBron and Steph on the same team at the Olympics, coming off of that unique partnership and, of course, the gold medal win. What is LeBron saying about now playing with and against Steph Curry in his 22nd season?
Yeah, Malika, LeBron lit up when I asked him about Steph yesterday ahead of not just today's game against the Warriors. The Warriors play the Lakers again on Friday this week. And LeBron said, listen, he was finally had a chance to play against him or play with him, I should say, every single day and be around that energy and see his work ethic and see what they were able to do together on the court. You know, LeBron had some of the most thrilling basketball experiences of his life this summer in those wins against Serbia and France. And the reason those wins happened was the the pairing up of LeBron and Steph. And so I asked LeBron, hey, could this ever happen again? Could you ever be teammates with Steph again on an NBA team? And he said, I have no idea. And LeBron's very intentional. He did not pour cold water on it. It would be a very remote chance of it happening, but he did not close the door on it.
Right. There's the fantasy about these two playing together, and then there's the reality. The Warriors, they did engage in trade talks for LeBron during the trade deadline last season. We're clearly still talking about this, but what are LeBron's teammates saying about it?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Davis, I brought it up with him this morning when we talked about that trade that Ramona Shelburne of ESPN reported on last year. And, you know, he kind of got a tickle from the fact that LeBron was mentioned in trade rumors maybe for the first time. And here's what he told me about it this morning.
I don't think it affected anybody. I mean, I think that might be the first time ever that he's been in trade talks in his career. He's kind of seen everything, so I don't think that affected him. That didn't affect our team. But it was definitely like strange to hear, in a sense of like the first time he ever been talked about in a trade before. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't happen, so.
Realistically, if something like this was going to happen, it would not be a trade in the future. If you look at the salary cap situation with the second apron and all that, the teams try to avoid, it would have to be LeBron opting out of his contract with the Lakers and taking an extreme pay cut to go join Steph with the Warriors in the Bay, which, you know, I don't think any of us really anticipate happening.
Right. There's always a chance, but some chances are far, 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 far slimmer than others. Dave McMenamin, thank you so much for stopping by NBA Today. Enjoy tonight's game. Let's just live in reality for a moment. Right? LeBron and Steph, they're obviously making max money. Both of their teams are respectively over the cap by at least, I don't know, a cool $60 million. So that's the reality when we ask, is there a chance? But when it's all said and done, these moments, Steph, LeBron, they'll live on forever. And just like fine wine, it only gets better with time. So let's run through, Rich, some of their top moments of all time. This category is for you.
Like fine wine pettiness. Oh, I remember this. Little pump fake block. Start talking crazy to him. Start talking crazy to him then, Kane.
Well, and then in 2018, Steph hits the step back. You remember this?
Yeah,
He gets a little.
No, I don't remember this. I was on the team. He wouldn't do
Good
that
game.
for me. Yeah.
Good game, Pat, there.
Yeah, because Steph knows. Steph knows nobody can do anything. It's like, good try.
And then
The 1, the 2, the 3.
That's not even deep for Steph. That's routine.
That's a layup. We showing layups for Steph now?
and that didn't even make our top dagger section. 2014. LeBron just buries the game.
Now that would have been a finals. That would have been fun to watch.
Right over in that finals MVP's face.
And then Steph, that little step over Deli out of dancing.
You got your lip back though, Deli.
And then gives him the fizz face going down. Can you do the thizzle dance? 2021, the play-in, the Braun dagger.
Oh, look at that. This when Braun hits him back after that pat. Was like, hey, now, no, there's something in my eye, but it wasn't you.
I do love those Warriors jerseys, though. Here is just the Bordeaux, the fine wine sequence here. LeBron.
He should have dropped it back for a dunk. To me, I would have windmilled it. See, look at that. Doing what I was supposed to, trail in just in case he missed.
And then here, you got 2017. Dancing, handles, layup.
Hey, the better shooter you are, the quicker you become.
And then here, James is
falling down. How does he do this? How do you fall down then take off like that?
RJ, you were on some of those Cavs teams. Why weren't you in any of these highlights?
Oh,
I was trailing that one.
I make sure we cut the video a certain way. Here's our next NBA preseason game, Friday night on ESPN2 in Deportes from the Chase Center in San Francisco. We might get LeBron and Bronny playing together. The Lakers take on the Warriors, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. NBA Countdown tips off our coverage at 7 o'clock Eastern. Sticking in the West here, 2 of the top 3 favorites in the West squared off tonight. According to ESPN Bet, OKC, they are plus 300 to win the conference. The Nuggets are behind the Timberwolves, plus 450. But even though it may be the preseason, that doesn't mean Michael Malone is taking it easy on his starters.
I ran those guys the whole third quarter, and obviously Jamal didn't play in the second half, but played that starting unit the whole third quarter to try to push their envelope a little bit. And that was probably a little bit hard on some of those guys. And then in practice, I think, we can get up and down more. I think so often as coaches in modern day NBA, the league has gotten so soft, everybody's afraid to condition and run. Well, we have to.
It is never too early. It is never too early to send a message to your team. While yes, I was irate because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, is Mike Malone telling us that in the preseason, his team is not in shape? Is that what he's saying? And he talks about, well, the league has gotten soft. Well, over the last 10 years, you've been the head coach of this group. We have applauded time and time again, Jokic changing his body, becoming an MVP, taking his workout serious. Played in the Olympics for Serbia. Jamal Murray played in the Olympics for Canada. So you have your players. So to me, I'm trying to figure out what coach wants. What does coach want from his team? And what I got was a message. And this is a big message. You have to come in shape. This is the end of it. You don't get to be the Denver Nuggets, start the season slow, end the season poorly, and now all of a sudden it's conditioning because they have less and less talent. They don't have Brown. They don't have Jeff Green. They don't have all of this depth that they once had. So for me, what are you complaining about, bro?
I'm complaining about how wrong you are. And Michael Malone is right, bro. Look, don't act like RJ that guys, old school guys that you have played with, I played with, Hall of Famers, don't use training camp and preseason games to get in shape. He's not saying that they didn't work out in the off season. What he's saying is the only way to get in game shape is by getting game reps. And he's right. Coaches, organizations, they have got a bit soft on teams this year, on teams in this new NBA. Like, guys are not running sprints no more. Guys are not doing conditioning drills no more. Hell, guys are not even playing preseason games no more. So don't come on here acting like he said something wrong. He wasn't wrong. And don't act like you wasn't sharing locker rooms with guys who use training camp in preseason.
But this
to get in
is not
shape.
the 1900s. I played with guys that played in the 1900s. Some people might even say if you went further back, they were plumbers and accountants. My thing is this. This is the new NBA. You come in shape. That's what it is. We don't get to applaud players that lose 20 pounds, that come in shape. We talked about Luka. We've talked about Joel Embiid. We've talked about all of these players getting in shape. And now you have a head coach of a two-time MVP, 3 out of 4 MVPs and a championship 2 seasons ago, talking about his guys aren't in shape and calling out the entire league, that the league is soft, that guys are afraid to do this. Well, to me, there has to be some accountability as a coach. If you look at your guys and say they're not in shape, then that means, we're going to run for these next couple of days because we're not ready.
You know who's not running?
Who?
The guy on the left there, Jamal Murray, who did not play, the one starter who did not play in the second half because his knee is sore. The knee that cost him a season and a half, the knee that bothered him last year in the playoffs when he wasn't himself, the knee that bothered him in the Olympics when he was bad. If Jamal Murray's not right, they can be in the best shape in the world. It does not matter. They have no chance to contend despite the fact they've got the best player in the world.
That seems like a pretty big problem, Perk.
It is. It's a huge problem. I mean, especially what he looked like in the Olympics. And Tim is right. Look, if Jamal Murray is not healthy, especially with them losing Reggie Jackson and KCP, and depending on the youth to come in off the bench, Christian Brown in the starting lineup now, he has to, and especially how good the West is and the NBA is, he has to come out and he has to deliver. Again, though, I want to go back to Richard because I wasn't done with him.
Oh, God.
Richard, Malika, Tim, no, it's a real question. If when the season starts 7 days from now, and say we're 5 games in, and let's just say, hey, Anthony Davis, he gets off to a slow start. The one thing I know we always say is that, hey, let's give him about 10 games. Let his legs get up under him. That's what we say about a lot of players. We don't evaluate players until they get deeper into the season because the workload on your legs, the thing of getting in shape. What Mike Malone is saying is, let me finish. I'll let you rant for an hour and then say a word. What Michael Malone is saying is, we want to come out the gates running. We don't want to use the first part of the season or the first 5 games to fill things out. We want to come out the gates.
We have never questioned Steph's conditioning. We have never questioned LeBron's conditioning. We have never questioned Russell's conditioning. We never questioned great players' conditioning. You have a championship head coach that is questioning his team's conditioning. I agree that this is a message. This is a message that he's sending to his team. We got work to do. I like that. I like that he's setting the tone. For me, my biggest issue here is I'm telling people that you need to come in shape, and you, Perk, are saying players can get into shape. America, take that for what you want to, how you want to take that.
All
take
I'm
that
hearing,
for how you want to take that.
They lost KCP.
Oh,
Michael
we got
Malone
the same amount of
isn't.
championships.
Yeah.
That's where this conversation is going.
I don't know where you're going.
Michael Malone is unhappy with their conditioning, and Jamal Murray is having an issue, has had an issue with his knee. The Nuggets have a whole lot of things that they are going to need to figure out. But you know who doesn't? The Lynx.
Hello, the Golden State Warriors are preparing for an NBA season marked by many uncertainties, especially for a franchise that has achieved so much success in recent years. After 5 consecutive NBA Finals appearances between 2015 and 2019, the Warriors have entered a period of transition. One of the most impactful changes for the team was the departure of Klay Thompson, a pillar of the team's titles in 2015, 2017, and 2018. Thompson decided to leave the team as a free agent during the summer, a move that shook up the team's core. His shooting ability, defense, and partnership with Stephen Curry on the perimeter were a nearly unstoppable combination, and his departure left a void that the Warriors have yet to adequately fill. Attempts to replace Thompson with another star have been thwarted, including trade talks to bring in talented power forward Lauri Markkanen, who currently plays for the Utah Jazz. Markkanen, who had a breakout season in 2023, averaging 25.6 points and 8.6 rebounds per game, would have been a formidable addition. However, negotiations fell through, leaving the team without a clear solution to Thompson's absence. Even with the addition of Buddy Hield, a veteran known for his accuracy on three-pointers, he's averaging 40% in his career. The prospects are uncertain. Hield can provide scoring, but he doesn't have the same defensive impact or versatility that Thompson offered. In addition to the roster uncertainty, the Warriors face a new concern, the injury to Stephen Curry, the team's biggest star and widely considered the greatest shooter of all time. Curry injured the index finger on his right hand, which is a major concern since his shooting ability, particularly from distance, is the essence of his game. With a career that includes more than 3,300 made three-pointers and a 42.8% accuracy rate from the line, any injury to his dominant hand raises questions about his performance and ability to lead the team. On the eve of a preseason game against the division rival Los Angeles Lakers in Las Vegas, Curry was asked about his fitness. In an interview with Anthony Slater of The Athletic, Curry said that despite the injury, he would be on the court that night. He downplayed concerns about his finger, saying, "I can't hurt it again unless I do something crazy. So I'm good." That optimism reflects the mindset of an athlete who is used to dealing with adversity, but the fact that he is playing through an injury could be a risk. The game against the Lakers, held at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, is part of a series of preseason games aimed at preparing the Warriors for the 2024 campaign. After that matchup, the Warriors will have just one more tune-up game before their regular season debut on October 23rd, when they face the Portland Trail Blazers away from home at Moda Center. The team is expected to use these games to find their best form, especially with the new roster dynamics and Curry's recovery. The final preseason game will be on October 18th, when the Warriors will face the Lakers again, this time on their home turf at Chase Center in San Francisco. It is likely that, depending on the condition of Curry's finger, the team will decide to rest him from this matchup to ensure he is in top shape for the regular season opener. The team, which also has young talents like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, as well as veterans like Draymond Green, hopes that these pieces fit together and that Curry can lead the team, even while dealing with this recent injury. The performance in the first few games will be crucial in defining the Warriors' season prospects. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your comment below. Hugs and see you next time.